Today we are going to work on getting some differentiation between our rib cage and our pelvis. So this is extremely important, especially as we age, because we want there to be space between these two weights. So in this space is, our diaphragm, our organs, our low back is suspended between these two weights. So this is just a really important area to keep moving. So we're going to start with some rib cage shifts. So if you are standing in parallel, pelvis in neutral, and put your hands out to the side, outstretch your arms, we are going to think of sliding the rib cage and reaching out to something just past your reach. So we're going to keep the pelvis exactly where it is and imagine it doesn't move at all, and we're just sliding everything on top of it. And then we'll reach the other side and go back and forth. This is also very jazz dancey, so you can feel very jazzy after this exercise. Good, so we are kind of trying to keep, if the diaphragm is passing through parallel to the floor, we want to keep the diaphragm sliding on top of it. So we don't want to change the relationship to the floor. We want to keep the parallel lines. So imagine, and that's kind of why the arms are outstretched. You can really feel like you're just sliding from side to side. Good, so then front to back, we can do the same thing front to back. So the rib cage can slide forward. You might feel kind of more of a stretch in the front, and then slide backwards. So if you're doing this looking in a mirror or something, make sure you're not just moving the shoulders, which can make it feel like you're moving your rib cage. So keep the arms heavy and see if you can just keep them hanging right by your sides and move through the rib cage. Good. So now we're going to do the rib cage slide in a circle. So holding your arms out, we're going to go to this side, go to the front, other side, and back. So you can keep this very choppy, or you can kind of smooth out the edges and create kind of a circle, imagining just if, like that diaphragm image, you're just making this type of shape. So you're not tilting the rib cage in any way. You're just trying to slide. Good, and then from the side, thinking to the side, to the front, to the other side, and back down. So your weight will shift a little bit as you're moving around, but you don't really want to tilt and move the hips. So we're not doing this motion, we're keeping this really still and moving the rib cage mostly. So the next thing is the rib cage tilt. So put your hands, cross your hands over your shoulders, and we're just going to tilt the rib cage to one side and then tilt to the other side. So still, same idea, imagining that your lower half is still, not moving at all, and we're just moving the upper half of our body. Some upper, lower movements going on. And now, instead of the diaphragm sliding, we're thinking about the diaphragm as looking towards this way and looking towards the other way. Good, and then the head can just kind of follow along. I like to also let my head kind of drop and get a stretch down the side. So front and back, we can do this as well. So the rib cage can tilt forward and backwards. You can kind of think of the rib cage like an egg. So if you're imagining an egg here, the egg is tilting forward as you tilt forward with your upper body, and then the egg is tilting backwards. So again, compensations, we don't want to get this movement by bending at the hips. We want to keep our pelvis exactly where it is and see if you can differentiate your rib cage from the pelvis. So taking this into a circle, tilting to this side, coming forward, and other side, and back. Imagining just You're making a big circle in the space. Even thinking about going out the top of your head, if you had a giant paintbrush, you're just creating a big circle, and this is your range of motion of the rib cage. Try that out. Try if you're doing the circle, go one side and then go the other side, and enjoy that space that you're creating between the rib cage and the pelvis.